Hey, greetings to you. Just want us to continue from where we ended in anatomy and physiology. So I'm calling this one as the respiratory system, the anatomy of the respiratory system. So in part one, we did say that the other name for respiratory system is apparatus system or ventilatory system. Okay, so we even talked about these parts or organs that are in this respiratory system. We did list them. We said that we've got the nose, the nasal cavity, the bronchi, the larynx, the pharynx. Okay, so those are the things that we talked about. Okay, so now I just want us to proceed to another important part known as the trachea. Trachea is also known as a windpipe because it is where wind is able to pass. Okay, no wonder it is called a windpipe. Trachea is measured around 10 to 11 centimeters in adults. It extends downwards up to fifth thoracic vertebrae. Okay, at the end it is divided into right and left bronchi, okay, which enters into their respective lungs. It is composed of 16 to 20 C-shaped ring of hyaline cartilage. Okay. Connective tissues and involuntary muscle joins the cartilage and forms the posterior wall. The trachea cartilage covers by three tissue layers: outer layer, middle layer, and inner layer. It helps in the cough reflex. Okay. So that's it about the trachea. So you have to know that it is a windpipe and that it is made up of hyaline cartilage. So those are important points to take note. So let's now look at the bronchi. So after the trachea, we're going to have the bronchi. The bronchi is the airway passage into the respiratory tract. They carry inhaled air into lungs. There are two types of bronchi. We've got the right bronchi and the left bronchi. The primary bronchi split into three secondary bronchi. They enter into superior. The word superior, we've said that it is the word that means above. Okay, superior, middle, and inferior. Inferior downwards. So inferior lobes of the right lungs. The secondary bronchi further divide into tertiary bronchi. The tertiary bronchi then divide into more smaller branches. Okay. The bronchioles. So after the bronchi, we've got the bronchioles. The bronchioles are the finest branches of bronchi. So the bronchioles, the spelling is bronchioles. Bronchioles. So what we are saying is that these are the ones that come from the bronchi. Okay. Bronchial converted into terminal bronchioles, which further subdivided into two or more respiratory bronchioles. They terminate at alveolar sacs. Okay. A sac is more like it's more like a storage. Okay, a storage for an alveolar sac is a storage for air. It's where gaseous exchange takes place, where the oxygen enters the cells of the body and the carbon dioxide is taken away from the body. Okay, so going to find that when we talk about the cardiovascular system, there is the blood that goes to the lungs for purification, specifically deoxygenated blood. Okay, so that it can be able to be made oxygenated blood. So that's the side to the lungs where gaseous exchange takes place. Okay, let's now proceed to the lungs. Lungs present in the thoracic cavity as two cone-shaped lobes separated by heart and other structures. Present from clavicle to diaphragm. The paired soft sponge cone-shaped lungs, separated medially by the mediastinum and are closed by the diaphragm and thoracic cage. Not very much important. Okay, so two layers of serous membrane, collectively known as pleural membrane, encloses and protect each lung. So the pleural membranes are the ones that protects the lung. They are the one that surrounds the lungs. Okay. Okay. So we've got the parietal pleura. The parietal pleura, the spelling is Parietal, Pleura. Parietal pleura. Okay. It is the outer layer attached to the thoracic cavity. Then we've got the visceral pleura. Visceral pleura, the spelling is Visceral. Okay, visceral pleura. What is it about visceral pleura? It is an inner layer covering the lung itself. Okay, covering the lungs itself. Left lung is smaller than the right lung due to the space occupied by the heart in the thoracic cavity. The left lung is smaller than the right lung due to the space occupied by the heart in the thoracic cavity. Okay. So we've got various parts of the lungs, and we've got these are the apex, the base, the costal surface, the medial surface. Let's look at the apex. The spelling is APEX. Lung has round apex, which extends up to the roof of the neck. Then the base, the spelling is BASE. It has concave and semilunar base, which is associated with the thoracic surface of diaphragm. How about the costal surface? It has convex costal surface, which is associated with the costal cartilage ribs and intercostal muscles. Then we've got the medial surface. It has concave medial surface, triangular shaped hilum present 5 to 7th thoracic vertebrae. So we'll talk about the thoracic vertebrae so that you'll be able to understand them. For now, just understand it like that. How about the mediastinum? The spelling for mediastinum is Mediastinum. It is an area between the lungs and it is occupied by the heart, great vessels, trachea, right and left bronchi, esophagus, lymph nodes, lymph vessels, and nerves. Okay, so then we've got the pleura or the pleural cavity. When you say a cavity, you're simply talking about a hole in simple terms. Okay, a hole or a place or something that covers the organs of the body. Each lung is enclosed in a pleural membrane which is made up of double-layered serous membrane. Got the parietal pleural, the ones that we've said, and the visceral pleural. Visceral pleural is the deep layer lines of the lungs, while the parietal pleural is the outer layer lungs, thoracic cavity of the thoracic cavity. Okay. Then the lungs has also lobes. Okay, has also lobes. So now, these lobes are also called as fissures. Okay, fissures or lobules. Lobes, fissures, or lobules. Okay, so the spelling for lobes is LOBES. Then fissures is FISSURES. Lobules, the spelling is LOBULES. Each lung is separated in lobes. Left lung divided into two lobes. So which means that the left lung has got two lobes. The right lung is divided into three lobes. The right lung contains three lobes. Take note of that. Take note of that. The right lung is having three lobes, whilst the left lung is having two lobes. It's a question that most of the times is asked. The lobes are further divided into numerous lobules containing alveoli. What are the functions of these lungs? The lungs, you and I must be able to know and understand that the lungs are involved in respiration. Okay. And again, they alter the blood potential hydrogen of the blood pH, filter out small blood clots formed in the veins. Okay. And again, they are able to provide protection against infection. Right. Let's now look at the alveoli. Alveoli are hollow cavity found in the mammalian lungs. Pulmonary alveoli is a spherical projection of the respiratory bronchioles. The alveolar membranes are the major sites where exchange of gas occurs with the blood. That's where gaseous exchange takes place in the alveoli. 70% of each alveoli is occupied by blood capillaries. What are the functions of this alveoli? You have to know that the first function that you have to know is respiration. Gaseous exchange occurs between alveoli and blood by diffusion. Okay. All right. And again, they protect the body against microbes. Okay. So let's now look at the mechanism of respiration. Mechanism of respiration. So when we talk about mechanism of respiration, we're simply talking about how the person is able to breathe in and to breathe out air. That is mechanism of respiration. The process by which the respiration organs allow the air to move in and out of the lungs or breathing is what we call as mechanism of respiration. Oxygen-rich air is taken in from the atmosphere, and in exchange, carbon dioxide-rich air is given out to the atmosphere. What does that mean? That simply means that when a person inhales oxygen from the surface or from the environment, we're going to see that carbon dioxide should be able to come out from that person. That is the normal way of mechanism of respiration. The entire process of breathing is made up of two processes. We've got the inhalation or inspiration. To inhale is to allow air flow into the lungs. To breathe in, that is to inhale. So we've got two processes of breathing. Okay, number one, inhalation, the one that is called inspiration. The number two, we've got exhalation, which is also called as expiration. Okay, so the taking out of air is what we are calling expiration. Okay, or exhalation. The spelling for exhalation is exhalation. exhalation. Okay. A single breath comprises of one inhalation and one exhalation. Breathing rate is the number of times an individual breathes in a minute. Breathing rate increases while walking fast, running, or after heavy exercises. Then it decreases when someone is relaxing. Average breathing rate of an adult is 15 to 18 times per minute. Okay. Let's now talk about these two processes. Let's start with inhalation. Inhalation, we've said that it is the taking of air in the lungs or into the lungs. Okay. The other name for inhalation is inspiration. Okay, inspiration. It is also known as inspiration. The various steps involved in inspiration is followed by number one, contraction of diaphragm. Okay, contraction of the diaphragm. Diaphragm becomes depressed down and become flat. And then increase in the size and height of thoracic cavity. Then contraction of the external intercostal muscles. External intercostal muscle, when you look at the diagram of the lungs, you're going to see that there is something that they call intercostal muscles. Okay, so now these intercostal muscles will be able to contract during inspiration or during exhalation. Okay, I'm during inhalation, these intercostal muscles will be able to contract. The lifting of the rib cage and pushes the sternum. The lifting of the rib cage will be able to push the sternum forward. And this will cause an increase in the anterior and posterior dimension of the thoracic cavity. Okay. Not only that, you are going again to have an increase in the size of the lungs and also intrapulmonary volume. Intrapulmonary volume. The word intra means between, then pulmonary, it simply means the lungs. So we're going to have an increase in this intrapulmonary volume. Then decrease in the gas pressure within the lungs. The pressure becomes less than the atmospheric pressure. Air moves into the lungs till the intrapulmonary and the atmospheric pressure attains equilibrium. Let's now talk about exhalation. Exhalation means that the taking out of air, the breathing out of the air. It is also known as expiration. It is passive process. When we say it is passive process, it means that it is as it has when we say it is passive, it means that there are certain processes that allows it to take place. So going to say that there are relaxation of diaphragm. When the diaphragm relax, it will be able to move upwards. Okay. When diaphragm is relaxing, it is able to move upwards, like forming a round like shape, a curved like shape, a sickle like shape. That's what the diaphragm will be able to move. Then decrease in the size and height of thoracic cavity, relaxation of external intercostal muscle. So it is the opposite way with what was happening in the inspiration part. Okay. Then lift the rib cage and push the sternum upward, decreases the anterior and posterior dimension of the thoracic cavity. And then there will be a decrease in the size of the lungs, decrease in the intrapulmonary volume. Okay, right. Okay, so those are the things that we ought to know and understand about this respiratory system. Okay, all right. Okay. So those are the things that we ought to know. But again, there are certain terminologies that we have to know under this topic. Okay, so we've got the term known as tidal volume. Tidal volume, the spelling is Tidal. Then volume, the normal volume that we know, VOLUME. Tidal volume. What does tidal volume mean? It is the volume of air inspired or expired during a normal respiration. An average volume of tidal volume is 500 mils. So tidal volume is simply the air that you breathe in and you breathe out. Okay, you either breathe in or you breathe out. That volume, the amount of a volume or the amount of air that you just breathe in and out is what we're calling as tidal volume. Then inspiratory reverse volume. Inspiratory reverse volume. Additional volume of air a man can inspire after a forcible inspiration. Inspiratory reserve volume is the additional volume of the air a man can inspire after a forcible inspiration. Okay. Expiration reverse volume. Additional volume of air a man can expire after a forcible inspiration. Okay, so now what do we say about this inspiration reverse volume? Inspiration reverse volume is simply for example, when a person breathes in, there will be that amount of air that will be kept in the lungs. And then again, expiratory reverse volume. Expiratory reverse volume is the additional volume of air a man can expire, which means that a man can be able to breathe out after a forceful inspiration. Okay, let's talk about residue volume. Residue volume, the spelling is R-E-S-I-D-U-A-L. Residue volume, the volume of air remaining in the lungs even after a forcible expiration. Okay, the average value is 1100 to 1200 mil. Okay, then inspiratory capacity, total volume of air a person can inspire after a normal expiration. It includes tidal volume and inspiratory reverse volume. Then expiratory capacity, the volume of air a person can expire after a normal inspiration. It includes tidal volume and expiratory reverse volume. Okay, how about the functional residual capacity? What does that term mean? It is the volume of the air that will remain in the lungs after a normal expiration. It includes expiratory reverse volume and respiratory volume. Okay, I mean residue volume. It involved the functional residual capacity involves the expiratory reverse volume and residue volume. That's the functional residue volume. The vital capacity, this term also means the maximum amount of air a person can breathe out after a forced inspiration. Okay, all right, so those are the terms that we ought to know and understand under this respiratory system. Okay, so thank you very much for your attention and for your time.